Alright, so here it is, the 2021 Yamaha MT-09 SP. I got to borrow this for a couple of days by Speed Motorcenter. Yeah, sure. So thanks for that. Yeah, this is the bike itself. As you can see, it's basically, compared to the old or second gen, I should say, it's basically the same. No, that's terribly wrong. It has gotten some changes. Most noticeable, maybe, is the headlight, which everyone, I guess, kind of hates. But I don't mind it, because it kind of complements the rest of the bike, I guess. Everything on this bike is actually brand new. So it's a very different bike to ride than the second gen. Now this bike is of course Euro 5 approved. So you've got this exhaust right here. I don't know how much you guys see, but there we go. So you got this exhaust which has one hole on each side, and man, it gives out really nice sound for the exhausts, for being a stock exhaust. And one thing I have to say I also really like about the design of this is now black. I mean, these could have been black as well, but I prefer them in silver, to be honest. But the brake lever, not the brake lever, the foot brake is actually black. It's just a nice touch that I think only the SP model has. Here is the brand new engine. I mean, it looks kind of the same, because it is kind of the same, but they've basically rebuilt the entire engine and made it a little bit bigger. So now it has 118 horsepower compared to the previous 115. It's got 93 Newton meters of torque, I think, instead of 87 in the previous gen. Now, just one aesthetic thing that I really would wish they would have kept is this cover right here. I really liked it in the kind of bronze color that they had going on the second generation, but that's nitpicking. And they've also gone for a very, I guess, kind of open design. As you can see, all these cooling stuff is just out in the open now. And it's really just bare bones. The whole bike everything is visible, which is kind of cool if you're into that kind of stuff. On the SP model as well, you get these tinted brake fluid reservoirs. You've got one in the front right here, and you've got one in the rear as well. The taillight looks really cool, in my opinion. I don't know, it's just I really like it, but I would love to see when the third-party companies maybe come out with a third-party integrated blinker. That would be really interesting to see. And of course, with the SP model, you do get the Öhlins rear shock and the KYB upgraded front forks. These, I haven't done anything with them. They're just set up as they were from the factory, and they are really nice. I'm not a suspension wizard, so don't come to me for tips on suspension and stuff like that. I like them. They work well. There is the KYB fully adjustable suspension on the front forks. Now, I'll give Yamaha one thing. The mirrors that they use on the MT models, I mean, they look kind of hideous if you look at them from the front. Just look at that. It's like, yeah, they look hideous, but oh my goodness, they are so functional. You don't even, if you haven't tested a Yamaha with these mirrors, best stock mirrors I have ever tried. Alright, so this is what the cockpit looks like. Finally, they've got the key in front of the tank right there. And we are going to be able to see that screen, yes, perfect. So this is the display that you have, the RPM gauge and speed, gear, and then with the right handlebar control unit, you can change out these two to whatever you'd like, really. So you have the odometer, the trip, second trip, average fuel, fuel current, real time. I'm gonna have to set up this. Temperature outside, air temperature, engine temperature, and then of course fuel consumption, which is kind of cool. It's actually kind of accurate. And trip time, which hasn't been really set, I guess, since it's been taken out. So on the right kind of handlebar control unit, you've got your start-stop, kill switch, and a menu wheel. And on the left side, you have your high beams right here, actually, which is kind of weird. Because you have the mode button where you change between traction control and traction and throttle mapping, you do with that button right there. So you've got your pass light right there, cruise control for the SP model, and then you've got your mode selector to go up and down in different modes. Of course, the blinker and the horn and the emergency blinkers, or turn signals if you will. And one thing I've noticed is that the turn signals are kind of in a weird place, because they're kind of, I don't know if it's possible to see, but it's kind of, I'll get off the bike and show you. Now, as you might be able to tell, it is kind of inside of this whole contraption, which makes it kind of hard to engage when you have gloves that are a little bit too big in your thumb, as I do. When I put my hand here, and then I bump into the rest of the contraption. And you also have to, oh, that's very bright. And you also have to push it really far over for it to engage, which is, I guess, nice. On the left side, I don't have any problems with it, but on the right side, it's kind of, I sometimes flick but when I'm blinking or when I'm turning to the right, I'm kind of sometimes engaging it halfway and thinking that I have actually engaged it, but you have to go all the way instead of just halfway to actually engage the blinker, which is kind of weird. The MT-09's brake setup in the front is, well, in my experience, nothing to write home about. They definitely stop the bike, but you don't have that kind of feel that you would want on this bike if you were taking it to track days and stuff like that. On the road, they definitely work, but if you're going tracking or want better brakes, I definitely consider swapping them, or doing something like that. Although I think the master cylinder on this bike is actually from the R1, which is kind of weird that I don't feel that it is very good.